All right, we are live for the Monday edition of the Morning Check-In. And as always, looking forward to connecting, sharing my 2 cents on a variety of subject matter, and of course, finding out what you guys are keeping your eyes on. It's going to be an interesting live stream because today could be the day that Trump ignites the crypto moon launch, as I'm calling this stream, because of an announcement apparently coming at 1:30. That's information provided from the White House on top of yesterday's crypto pump. And so, literally, we might be in the beginning phases of what I consider to be the Maga wealth effect. And so, we're going to talk about that and a lot more. There's lots of stories to dive into. We got fires in South Carolina, we got Gaza being bombed again, and all this crypto stuff. Gold and silver is right there. $31 for silver, 28, 29 for gold. But yet the crypto space is where all the attention is designed to be diverted to. Anyway, we're going to talk about that and a lot more. Welcome to the live stream. As always, for those who are plugged in, never know where you're watching from. Let me know in the chat, in the comments, whatever, what's going on, what you're keeping your eyes on. Hope everyone is off. The day is off to a good start. And before I dive any further, let me make sure everything is running smoothly on my end here so that we can make this time worth it for everyone. And so it's going to be a good morning, man. I'm excited. It's going to be a good week. Hopefully the weather turns a little bit and we can really get things up and running this week. But let me just jump into the good news to start off with a little bit of a spiritual boost for your relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ. And then we'll get into some market activity. Then we'll get into all the noise, which happens to be the primary headlines that are given to us after they unfold. And so it's going to be an interesting morning. But before I do that, as always, let me just make everyone aware who might be new. You never know. But if you are new, if you haven't, subscribe, YouTube and Rumble, and you'll always be notified. Click that check mark, the bell notification, whatever it is, wherever you're watching from. And that's a way to stay plugged in. And then also, for those who enjoy this type of commentary, enjoy being able to connect and want to support the channel, feel free to donate by any means necessary. Link to the bottom of this video here. And any help, all help, definitely will be utilized to continue to bring you more content. So appreciate you. And for educational, the whole point in getting gathering and doing these live streams is to continue to educate people from a monetary literacy standpoint. And so here we have the Dollar IQ quiz, 10 simple questions to open up your monetary literacy journey. And as of right now, the average is about 60% or so. So there's lots of room for me to continue to try to share information to educate people. And then when you're done with that, download the Dollarcation monetary cheat sheet, which gives you a full historical viewpoint of what we call a dollar and its many variations throughout the last couple hundred years. But you can find all this at rethinkingthedollar.com. Links in the description as well. All right, let's get into some good news. We're going to make this one a good one. All right, so let me zoom in here so you can see what I see. It says here, the power of gathering in his name, March 3rd. For where two or three are gathered together in my name, I am in the midst of them, Matthew 18:20. It says, did you know that the presence of Jesus isn't limited to a grand cathedral or a massive crowd? He said, where two or three are gathered in his name, I am there in the midst of them. That means his presence isn't about numbers. It's about unity in his name. It says in the Old Testament, God's presence was in the temple behind the veil. But now Jesus tore that barrier down wherever his peoples gather, whether in a home, a workplace, or even on a street corner, he is right there. So don't underestimate the power of small gatherings. Your prayer circle, your Bible study, even a simple conversation today about Yeshua, he's in the middle of it. So when the king is present, transformation happens. And then the last one is the challenge of the day. Find someone today, just one or two people, and invite Jesus into that environment. Because where he is, miracles follow. Amen. I believe that. I do believe that. Hopefully you do as well. Okay, let's get into it, man. Let's jump right into it. I want to jump right into it. I don't want to waste no time today. So before I do that, let me make sure I provide some resources because I never know who might be new. So for those who might be new, you never know, but colonialsmetalsgroup.com/RTD are my partners that allow me to be able to help people diversify their portfolios out of the traditional stocks and bonds and getting a tangible goal. So if you're interested in having a self-directed IRA, which is a way for you to store gold and silver in your possession or in a depository near you, then visit this link here, colonialsmetalsgroup.com/RTD. Download this PDF here and it answers a lot of questions about the services that are available, as well as education for the importance of gold and silver. And then you can actually speak with the professionals and have them help you to set up a diversification strategy. So once again, colonialsmetalsgroup.com/RTD, or call 1-888-521-2448 and speak with the professionals. And yeah, as always, love connecting people with resources. So that's the part of the monetary journey, is to provide people with options. And so I want to continue to do that with my, what I believe is the most affordable and the cheapest way of getting physical gold at this current moment. It has everything to do with gold backs, aka gold notes. So around me here, I have an assortment of physical weight in 24 karat polymer notes. That is a way of divesting out of the old, dying, depreciating currencies and into something new, tried and tested. And so once again, like right here, I have just 2 1-unit notes. And so as of right now, let me look behind me. These notes each go for about a little bit over $5.64. And when I grabbed these notes here, they were like $4 and something change. So literally, having had them just sitting here on my desk, they've appreciated in nominal terms, which means that I have protected myself and not losing purchasing power in these. So once again, if you're interested in finding out more, click the link, go to buygoldnotes.com. You'll be more than satisfied with protecting yourself, I'm sure. All right, let's get into it, man. So let me just move right into today's headlines. So I don't want to waste any time. I want to just talk about the news today, because the Trump pump is underway. And so you never know who might be new. And as always, I got to continue to remind people, my job is just to be very unbiased as I can, give it to you straight, and not share my opinions without giving both sides, the pros and the cons, as best as I can, because I know that at the end of the day, all of this is just one big political theater being done on behalf of God knows who. But yet at the end, the goal is to deceive, distract, and to debase our currency. And ultimately, it just destroys lives. That's what it is. And so just look at where we're at now and how far we've come from the concept of this country ever being great. And it has everything to do with the fact that we have no nation. We have no sound, true, tried, and tested way of life if our currency is dying or depreciating severely. So on the screen here, this is what rethinking the dollar is all about. When I learned that we are literally being robbed in real time because it's built into the system, it's the way things have to operate because of fractional reserve lending amongst the private banks. And of course, the capturing of our monetary system in general by the privatization of our currency via central banks. And so every president, as you can see here, every president has chipped in on debasing our currency, therefore robbing us of purchasing power. And Trump will be the last one under this current structure, because they're going to reboot the system and usher in something new. It has everything to do with stablecoins and the digitization of our currency, centrally controlled by the government or the Federal Reserve collaboration, either one. And it will succeed. Just be 100% accurate with everything. It will succeed because 99.99% of people don't realize what's happening to them, and will they know how to resist it. And that's why I encourage people to get your weight up, i.e. gold and silver, as a protection against this type of malfeasance. And because we will not be getting any more purchasing power, the only thing this administration can do is to pump up cryptos as a way to divert our attention. And then this leads to what I call the Maga wealth effect. And so a part of Donald Trump's presidency is to oversee the bankruptcy of our nation. And therefore, he cannot go backwards towards gold and silver, which is on the other side of the screen. And he will use in the middle, which is Federal Reserve notes and the jib and jabber with Jerome Powell, to ultimately create this illusion of they're fighting the system. But all along, they want us to go towards the digital stuff because it's a part of the surveillance state that they have planned for our country and the world. It will succeed no matter how much you want to resist it. You can only protect your household as long as you can, but the collective society will adapt to it, because when things get tough, most people just happen to roll over and play dead and just do as they're told, unfortunately. But then again, we are here. So the MAGA wealth effect might be officially launched today at 1:30. What do I mean? And this takes me into my very first article, people. So as always, for those who want to plug in to the news, click the link in the description, go to the rtd.news webpage, and it'll take you right here. and you get a chance to get all the articles that I want to talk about today. And I'm going to make myself a little bit bigger here, and then we're going to get into some headlines. And so it's a lot of headlines here, and I will not get to all of them because it's maybe 30 articles that I put on here, of which I'm going to give you 5, 6, 7. And if you want to get more, which is I'm sure is worth your time, then just go to this link and read for yourself. But the big news today is the very first one. Let me just zoom in here a little bit more. Trump to make investment announcement. What type of investment announcement will he make? I guarantee one thing, it will not be to anything to do with gold and silver, because that's on you. But it will be probably crypto related. Let's get into this real quick. Oh man, you gotta love this stuff, man. Especially when I've been talking about this for so long now. It's old on my part because it's quite obvious to see how this all plays out. But then again, you never know who might be new. That's why I continue to do it. Okay, so this is from Reuters. Came out this morning at, let me see here. It came out, what time did they release this? This is 2 hours old. And let's just read the headlines. This is all a part of making America great again, people. At least that's what we're being told. It says here, U.S. President Donald Trump will make an investment. An investment. So I got my thoughts. So I'm going to try to be nice. But to give it to you as best I can here without being too hard on the guy, Donald Trump will make an investment announcement. Once again, an investment. How can a broke government that brings no value into existence other than stealing from taxpayers and running deficits on the back of future generations invest? I don't know, but they've managed to do a good job of it. How do you say that? Just because look at how they've invested before. They create debt and then monetize it with the Federal Reserve, and then they spend it. And then we are left on the hook paying for it, or you cannot even pay it back because creditors know we're not going to paying it back, but still. But it says here, representatives of the White House could not be immediately reached to comment on the planned announcement, which was included on the president's daily schedule. So right now, by 1:30 today, at 1:30, Donald Trump's going to come out and make some noise. And it's my suspicion that noise will have everything to do with this sector right here, the crypto space. And of course, yesterday, he didn't hold back by making an announcement that made a lot of people angry. The Bitcoin maxis were extremely angry. And so as we can see here, the market's pumped a little bit, but altcoins pumped more than Bitcoin and Ethereum did. And that got a lot of people mad. But the fact, and I've been saying this for so long, Donald Trump, he mentions crypto first before Bitcoin. He could care less about any of this. He's only doing what he's told. And it's all a distraction away from other events that are more important than this, relatively speaking. And so I'm going to get into some of those as well, because while people are so excited about their bags being pumped, we have destruction and death are happening all around the world, which this type of crypto news outshines that, to where average people are not concerned with other people's well-being or lack thereof. They're concerned about their pockets. And that's all a part of the Maga wealth effect, to make you feel wealthier while the execution of the reset continues. And so let's keep it moving. Let me get into my stuff here. Give me a second here. Let me get into, I got a lot more to give you. Okay, let me get back to my page here. So at 1:30, we got an announcement. What will it be? It's going to be crypto related. I'll be willing to put something on that one. And so what else we got here? All right, got to get out of my article here. Give me a second. Got to get out of my article. All right, so, come on now. Trump's investment and address plan stirs anticipation. So this is what's trending right now on X. And I'll just real quickly update my screen to see what the talk is, because you would imagine, I would assume the markets should be moving depending on what this investment, but giggles. Sorry, let me just zoom in here. So here we got just commentary. Everybody's announcing it, sharing their thoughts. And so we got tomorrow. So this is Donald Trump's Twitter social media account, where he said that tomorrow night will be big. I would tell it like it is. So whatever it is tomorrow night. So we got something today at 1:30, and then we got something tomorrow night. And so it will be very interesting. But mind you, it's all designed to excite you and to make you feel wealthier, while in actuality, nothing substantial will take place outside of those who are front running this type of activity, which, of course, you better know the insiders, those that are closest to Donald Trump, They get first dibs. All right, they keep it moving. And so, as a part of all the noise yesterday, Donald Trump came out and excited some, but angered others. And so it says Trump announces strategic crypto reserve. Never mind gold and silver being constitutionally legal, tender, and necessary for wealth preservation. But a part of the plan is to make sure you go digital. And people will go that direction, no problem, because of the wealth effect. And so let's just talk about what was interesting. Most interesting here is that President Donald Trump announces the creation of a strategic reserve, with which included the first announcement was XRP, Solana, and Cardano in a post on True Social. And then, as an afterthought, he came out with the idea of, man, okay, I pissed a lot of people off. Let me go back and clean that up. And how did he clean it up? He just simply added to his tag. He added to his post an hour later. So let me just share with you exactly what hit the airways and how people were not happy with this at all. And so literally, when it first announced yesterday morning, U.S. Crypto Reserve will elevate this industry, this critical industry, after years of corrupt attacks by the Biden administration, which is why my executive order on digital assets. So digital assets is the package directed by the presidential working group to move forward on a crypto strategic reserve that includes XRP and Cardano. So those three cryptos were announced first, and Bitcoin and Ethereum was not in this. So why did he purposely, either intentionally from his own hands or his handlers, put this out first? All three of those projects are companies with CEOs and heads. Of course, they all operate differently, but there's a lot of uber wealthy venture capitalists, as well as Wall Street individuals that hold large bags of those three. And so those three clearly are going to be used for some type of financial structure that will be used for the future. XRP, of course, we got the XRP lovers. They are, you have to talk about the Nasira, Jacera, and all that stuff like that. And then Charles Hoskins from Cardano, he is doing a good job of trying to remove the centralization out of Cardano. And then Solana is just basically a venture capitalist coin. It's just literally, it's Wall Street ran and Wall Street owned. But anyway, but he says, I will make sure the U.S. is the crypto capital of the world. We are making America great again. So once again, cryptos is, 15 years old? And to make us the capital of the world, how's that making America great again? So that slogan of again is very misleading. Because once again, crypto won't make us great because it's digital IOU nothing. It's software owned and controlled by servers that must be verified by the miners and everything like that when it comes to proof of work. And then proof of stake, of course, is already pre-mined coins that already are positioned in big bag holders, coffers, so they're already going to benefit most. So once again, I understand the agenda, so that's why I'm just shooting it straight. But what really pissed people off is that it took him an hour later. And then he said, and obviously Bitcoin and Ethereum as other valuable cryptocurrencies will be at the heart of the reserve. I also love Bitcoin and Ethereum. So he had to come out after the fact and then mention the two primary ones, of which people who voted for him primarily was focused on Bitcoin. It was the Bitcoin maxis that went above and beyond, because he spoke at the Bitcoin conference and promised them that there will be a reserve of some kind. But he started off by saying crypto, then he said Bitcoin, and then he also mentioned stablecoin. So as you can see here, the restructuring of the financial architecture has everything to do with digital assets. Bitcoin is just a distraction that he's telling the people to excite them, but in actuality, Wall Street has already captured all the crucial software structures, which are payment gateways and all the stable coin creation ones and all that other stuff I can go into, but you get my drift here. He sold the people a bunch of hot air, and a lot of people are unhappy with him in that regard. And so, of course, I could don't waste some time, but go throughout the crypto sphere on X, and everybody's just angry that he's talking about cryptos beyond Bitcoin. It's just funny. But once again, it's the same people who thought that he really sincerely can bring about change. And when you realize how bad things are from a global standpoint, because of our debt, because of purchasing power being gone, he cannot really do anything beneficial other than try to make people feel wealthier. And that's the MAGA wealth effect. So that's all he can do. And so you better believe his children, his family, and all his economic advisors, they are positioned heavily, well in advance. So they're going to get richer beyond what they came in owning. And so it's the people who are on the outside, the small mom and pops, that will be lured in once all this infrastructure is announced. And the reason I say that is because, let me just give it to you straight. Did anybody, or you may or may not, have noticed that the SEC has dropped all the previous, let me see, give it to you straight. The SEC has dropped all previous attacks on crypto companies. Like literally within the last week or two, boom, every SEC crypto case has come to a halt. SEC crypto reversals, every case it dropped in 2025 and legal battles still ahead. So literally the new SEC, which is controlled by Donald Trump appointees, which are uber wealthy individuals from the private sector that have plans and will benefit greatly from this action, have come in and just reverse course. And so it's the bad versus good. Like Biden was bad for crypto. He was disastrous for crypto. And then I'm going to come in and save the day under my administration when we're going to reverse everything. And we're going to allow America to be the leaders of crypto. And okay. And so here's a swift reversal under the Trump administration. So you see how Biden's job solely was to come in and be the worst president that we could ever have by destroying everything, borrowing everything, raising debt to unlimited heights, being so problematic in every sector so that the savior could come in on a white horse and just reverse everything and still keep everything relatively problematic because it's centered around debt. And the fact that the spending bill, $4.5 trillion, is coming to existence is no different than what Biden would have done himself. But here's just a list. SEC lawsuits dropped: Kraken, Consensus, Justin Sun and Tron, Gemini, OpenSea, Binance, Coinbase, Robinhood, Uniswap, soon to be Bittrex, Ripple. And so as you see here, all these lawsuits and issues that were being brought on those companies have dropped. Why? Because today at probably 1:30, they're going to make an announcement that will be favorable for all those companies and all the holders of the projects that they're involved with and everything else. So where we could literally begin seeing the launching of the MAGA wealth effect. And so once again, it's not a matter of if, it's when, because this is a part of the reset. And so rebooting the system requires people to be distracted and excited to participate in it. And what better way to do that than give them digital illusions of wealth via crypto? But all along, for those who realize where things must go, you must continue to think one step ahead and beyond the propaganda that's being sold to us and get your weight up so that you can at least have some sense of insurance against currency and crypto. Because if the system go down, banks close, having some weight allows you to be able to reboot yourself whenever we get into that next structure, which will of course be some type of digital representation of a dollar that we'll be forced to use because that was what the system runs on. So the dollar is not going nowhere. It's just being rebranded. So once again, this is just some things happening in the news. I have a lot more headlines, and just let me give it to you just straight. I'm not going to, because it'll take forever, but I want to be short and concise to the point. And if you're interested in finding out more, you know where to go to get all this at, rtd.news. So let me just shoot it to you straight. I'll just call it off because these are some interesting headlines. So once again, just go to rtd.news, click the link in the description. It'll take you here. So here's all today's. This is all today's. This is all today's headlines, all the way to yesterday. So I won't be able to give it to you because it'll take too long. But there's a lot of things worth touching on that I'll skim through. Okay, let's just get to it real quick here. Trump has glossed over high prices. Republicans worry it will cost them. So once again, inflation ain't going nowhere. 4.5 trillion that's coming into existence will only add to it. But never mind that. That's not important. It says Republicans cave in spending as expected now that Trump agrees. Right. How big is the stock market, America's bubble? It's getting bigger. And if Trump announces something that makes it bigger, and I put out there on the social media, when it bursts, the burst is just going to be that much louder. Netanyahu has officially announced a full blockade on Gaza. So literally, within the last 48 hours, Israel is back at it. They cut Gaza off and they're bombing and they're starting to continue to do what they were doing before. Once the U.S. gave them $4 billion. So they denied Ukraine, but they're giving aid to Israel as if they need aid. Like, why do we continue to support their destruction of the Middle East other than the fact that the nation state of Israel owns the U.S. and the U.S. are vassals for that particular region? Could be no other way. Europe unveils rival Ukraine peace plan backed by boots on the ground and planes in the air. So it looks like Netanyahu got what he wanted when he went to Europe, and therefore the war continues. And what else we got here? Importance of study of human action and behavior, yada, yada, yada. So it's just more stuff. UK and France, the craft coalition ongoing, and we go from there. So anyway, this is just what's happening in the news here. Those are some interesting headlines, but they don't really fit into the Trump MAGA effect that's underway. But anyway, if you guys are interested in finding out more, click the link in this description, and all the resources you need are down below. Be blessed, be safe, enjoy the rest of your day. And once again, from the good news today, for my believers out there, get in unison with somebody, family member, spouse, whoever. Get an agreement. Get Christ in the center of it and watch him move in reference to what you're expecting him to do on your behalf. And let's just put our faith to that. In the name of Jesus, be safe, be blessed, love, live, laugh. Shalom.